We're now you, the agent, back in the MLS system. For the last 10 minutes or so, we've been a client. We're now you back in the MLS. This next gadget we come to, Concierge. What Concierge is, it's an option that you have when you're saving an auto notification search. Hopefully everybody understands what I'm talking about when I say auto notification, prospecting. You go into the system, you put in your client's criteria. They want to live in this part of town, they can afford this much, they want this many bedrooms with a pool, whatever their criteria is. And then you save that search and you tell the system, okay, I want you to work for me. I want you to run on a regular basis, and if you find anything new for my client, I want you to send it to them. Does your work for you, kind of like your assistant, right? That's auto notification. What Concierge is, if you choose to use it for any of your auto notifications, it allows you to put yourself in the middle of that process. That search is going to run constantly. And if it finds any new listings, it's going to notify you, the agent. And then you get to decide if your client sees it or not.
Do you have to add the concierge to this page?
For example, let's say you have a client, and the client's made it very clear to you. They think the ugliest thing they have ever seen is a house with a blue roof. They just think that's disgusting. Well, if you set them up for auto notification, there's no field in the MLS color of roof, right? So if a house that matches their criteria happens to have a blue roof, it's going to send it to them. Your client's going to get it, they're going to look at it and go, what is up with this agent? That roof's as blue can be. Why would they send me a listing that they know I won't be interested in? Are they colorblind, or do they just not care? Maybe I need to get an agent that cares. You may elect to put that search in concierge mode. That search is going to run constantly. And if it finds any matches, it's going to notify you, the agent. And then you get to decide if your client sees it or not. So for example, we've got 3 listings here waiting for Jessica. Jessica has not seen these listings. So I can click on that link. There's the 3 listings. I can look at the photos, see if it has a blue roof. Now, blue roof's a bad example, but you understand what I'm trying to get at, right? For some reason, you want to look at the listing first. You can come up here, switch it over to the full display, look at all of the information, see if it meets their requirements. And after I looked at this one right here, that roof is as blue can be. I can reject it. Jessica will never see that listing. Now I can come up here, check on the rest, click on approve. Then the email would go to Jessica with just the listings I approved. You may never have a use for concierge. So if you don't have anything set up, you won't have that gadget there. So when you log in today and go home, you're not going to have that gadget. It's not going to exist. It's not going to be under additional. It's not going to be anywhere. You have no use for it. The first time you set up at least one search in concierge mode, that gadget will magically appear. And you may have 8 auto notifications set up, and maybe only 1 or 2 of them in concierge mode. It's an option each time you're saving an auto notification search, whether or not you want it in that. And you'll see that in the second half of class when we're setting up searches. And the last gadget here, external links. These are just some links to some third-party websites. If you clicked on it, it would open up a new window, take you to that site. When you close the window down, you're still in the MLS. Anybody have any questions about any of the gadgets? Yes, ma'am.
Under news and alerts, when you get messages from Ordex, how long do they stay in that? A week? Or
They can define the period of time for each message, but if they don't define it, I think the default is like 2 weeks. It'll stay there for a period of time. But they could say don't expire till the end of the year when they put it up, if they want to. Any other questions about any of the gadgets?
I'm sorry, I didn't see when you went to, like, we set our account up. Would you show me again? what
To
you
set your
clicked on?
account up, to set up
Well,
your
like
portal?
your
Your portal?
yeah.
I'm going to show you that right before we go to break.
Okay.
I have a question.
Yes, ma'am.
On the external links, are they going to transfer from the previous Ornex? We had external links there. To the
Yeah,
county.
I think Lauren was working on that
Because right
because,
now
yeah, we
it's-
can put as many on as they
I'm
want.
only showing one external link, and that's Realist, and I.
Yeah,
there are
showing
quite a few.
Realist and eProperty Watch.
I'm not showing those.
Okay.
Just the one. So curious about that, and then you are going to show us how to import our clients.
They're already done. Your clients are already there.
They are, okay.
As long as they have a first name, a last name, and an email address, they're there. If you're missing any of your clients when you log in today, that's why they're leaving Anovia up, because if they were missing any of those pieces of information, they didn't come over. So you'll have Anovia that you can go look at, and then you can add them into Matrix. All right, next we're going to go through the menu system. The menu system is everything above where I'm moving my cursor. The menu system is always on the top of your page throughout the application. This part will change. For example, we're on the Home tab, so it's showing us the home page. The next tab we come to is Search. That's where all your listing type searches are, all your different property types. If I come down here and click on More, this is also where your history and your open house type of search. So any sort of listing search you're doing, it'll be under the Search tab. Search tab is also where all the good stuff is, so we'll come back to that after break. Roster is where if you're searching for an agent or an office, this is where you would search to get their phone number, their address, that type of thing. My Matrix is your heart of the system. This is where your contacts are, your saved searches, your configuration of the system. So this is where your homework is. So we're going to come back to this right before we go to break. Stats. I think the stats in Matrix are phenomenal. So let's just go in here and run the historic sales price trend. I'll generate. And there it just generated the median sale price for the last 10 years. Over 61,000 listings. That's how fast Matrix is. Not only do you have this fancy chart, but if I come over here to data, there's the actual data that went into producing that chart. And if you'd like to, you can export that data. So you can get it out of the system. You can take it into Excel or some other product, do your own calculations, your own projections. So it's easy to get to the data. It's also easy to customize this. Right now, we have the last 10 years median sale price. But if I come in here to customize, let's say I don't want the last 10 years. I just want the past 12 months, so it keeps updating. And in addition to the sales price, I want to add another statistic. So I'm going to come down here to advanced options. And I could add any of these, number of active listings. But I want to add list price median. And I want them to look the same. So I'm going to make this smooth line. So now when I generate, it's going to show me just the past 12 months. It's going to show me the list price and the sale price. So I've created a new statistic here, right? So I can come up here to save, call it whatever I want, and here's where, if I wanted to, I could add it to that gadget on my home page, the stats gadget, so I could click on it right from the home page and get up to the minute statistics. Now I'm running statistics on the entire MLS. Who cares about the entire MLS, right? You guys want statistics on something specific. So if you come up here to search, you can get statistics on anything you want. Single family homes, a certain city, a zip code, 5-bedroom homes. You can even go into the map, and this is where I think the real power of the statistics come into play. You people sitting in this room, you're experts in your market. I guarantee you can pull into a certain area that you market in. You know off the top of your head, houses in here, they're selling for about $200,000, and it's a really hot market. You know, they're turning over fast. You know that. You're an expert. You drive down the road into another part of your market, and you know off the top of your head, houses in here, you're lucky if you get $100,000 for it. And you know, if you list something, it's going to be on the market for a long time until somebody. You know that. You're an expert. But what happens when all of a sudden you get a client that wants to live somewhere that don't have that expertise? You can go into the statistics and make yourself an expert on any part of the MLS. For example, let's say you know everything about the Kingman area, but now you have a client that wants to live over in Bullhead, and this is where they want to live. That's the area that they want to live in. So now when you go and generate the statistics, it's going to show you statistics just on that area. And you can see the houses there, they're selling for about $125,000, $130,000. You can go back and change it to 10 years, see if it's been going up, it's been going down. You can run any of these statistics or any statistic you've created and make yourself an expert on any part of the MLS. And you can share that information. You can email it. You can print it. So you can share it with your client. So not only can you use the statistics to educate yourself, you can use the statistics to show value to your client. The value of having a realtor. The information that you have available that no one else has. So I think the stats are pretty cool. The next tab, Realist. The Realist functionality that you have today in Innovia, you'll have the exact same functionality in Matrix. You can do everything the same as you did in Innovia. And I'll just give you a little heads up. Towards the end of the year, you won't have to link out to Realist. We're actually putting Realist in the MLS system. So right from the MLS, you'll be able to run your public record searches. You'll be able to print out your mailing labels. All the things that you do today in Realist, you'll be able to do right in Matrix. Now, at this time though, you could hit on Realist and it would take you the same way it does today into the Realist application, and you can do all the same functionality. Finance, these are just some links to different financial calculators like amortization charts, net proceeds, buyer's closing costs, so just some links to financial type functions. Input. By the time you guys leave here today, you will have an input tab, and any changes to listing or new listings you're going to have to do in Matrix as of today. So I want to show you what it's going to look like. That's not what it's going to look like. Let me renew my session. I don't know why it did that.
It said the audio was having problems too.
Yeah, I saw that too. That's because I lost my internet. But never fear. I have a hotspot here. So we will switch to my hotspot. The library, they ain't liking us at the moment. All right. So now let's try to go to input. And we're going to add a new listing. We'll do residential. And there's 3 ways to start a listing. The first way is fill from cross property. What that means, for example, let's say you have a house and it's up for sale. And the owner comes to you, it's not selling quick enough. They need to get some sort of income coming in. And they say, well, let's go ahead and see if we can get a renter in there until it sells. Well, instead of putting in a new rental listing, you could copy your for sale listing into your for rent listing and then just put in the lease information, kind of like cloning. You're copying the listing. Or let's say you have a property, or you had a property that you sold in a condominium complex, and now you have another unit. Well, the information, most of the information is the same, so you could copy your old one into your new one and then just change the unit specific information. So that's fill from cross property. The next way, and the way you're going to start 99.9% of your listings, is you're going to fill from realist tax. What that means is you're going to go find the tax record and then populate all the information into the listing for you. And the last way to start a listing is with a totally blank listing. The only reason I can think of that you would do that is if the property's so new there's not even a tax record. So the way you're going to start the majority of your listings, you're going to fill from tax. You're going to pick the county that the property's in. You're going to put in the owner name or the street information, and then you're going to search for the tax record. And this may take a second because there's probably a bunch of Smiths. But there we go. So we'll do this one right here. Click on fill. And now all the tax information has been brought in to the listing for you. And this is what Ad Edit looks like. It's divided into different sections. So like here's your basic information, more or less the property type. You go to the location. Here it's going to have the address, that type of information. So you're going to walk through these different tabs, putting in the information. The yellow fields are your required fields. So you're going to work your way through putting in the information about the property. Back here on this location tab, you'll see Google mapped the property for you. Now, I'm sure all of us at one time or another have gone to MapQuest or Google, typed in an address, printed out driving directions, followed them to the T, and didn't end up where we thought we were going to, right? It's not 100%. So you need to check it. Make sure that it's right. If it's not right, you need to fix it. To fix it, you come down here, set Latin long manually. And it's going to show you where Google mapped the property. If it's not right, fix it. Later in class, I'm going to show you how to search by map, by drawing shapes on a map. Lots of agents are searching that way. Even more consumers are searching that way. And if this property here is actually located over here, but it's mapped there, and somebody draws a shape on the map saying, I want to live in this area right here, they're not going to find your listing. Even if everything's 100% correct in the data, they won't find your listing. It's mapped wrong. So you need to fix it. To fix it, you come over here where it says place new pin. You go to the property that it is, you click. It's connected to Realist, so it's going to tell you the address, the owner information. You can even get the lot dimensions from any of the properties. Once you have it mapped right, you're going to say done, and now in the MLS, it's mapped properly.
What do you do if you don't have an address?
I'm sorry?
We sell land and it doesn't have an address, a number.
What
It does
you
have
can-
an address, but it doesn't have a number.
What you can do is there's lots of apps for your phone, free apps, that tells you where you are, that you just click on it, where am I? So you go stand on that piece of property out in the middle of nowhere, out in the desert, you click on it, it gives you the latitude and longitude, and then you would just come right here, plug in the latitude, plug in the longitude, and update the map. So that's no longer an excuse for people to have it mapped wrong because, well, there's not even a road on the map.
I think our GIS gives us.
I think what she was asking is, could you put in the APN number instead of the address
Parcel
number?
number.
Right.
Parcel
Oh, no,
number
that's-
instead of the
Yeah.
person's name or.
That's gonna be,
Yes,
oh,
you
when
can.
you're
Yeah.
doing your search,
Yeah.
when
it'd
you're
be a lot
searching
easier.
for it, yeah. You could put in the parcel number and to find your tax record. That was your question?
Instead of an address.
No. My thing is, I have a piece of land, it's a street name, no number.
Uh-huh.
No address.
So you don't have a parcel number at all?
So how do I put this on that, where it is?
That's gonna be, you're gonna have to ask your board. She's saying, I believe, that you have a street name, but you don't have a number.
Number.
Then I would think you'd put a 0 there. But that's
Or
something
can
you
do
would ask Ward.
What lot is lot 398 Ravenna Road, you know?
Yeah.
That's an association question,
Yeah.
not for
You-
me.
You would just, I put 000, like whatever the street is. Ship, Hope, whatever it is. But I search it and do everything off of the parcel number.
Yeah, that's what I do now.
Yeah.
Only a name. It gives me a wild somewhere and I get my pin where I want it.
Yeah, whatever you've been
Close as
doing
we can.
in Anovia, as far as your rules and stuff in the system, you'll do the
That's
same
gonna
thing
stay the
here.
same for
Okay.
it, yeah.
You do the
Okay.
same thing here.
Yeah, because that happens all the time.
I do like the longitude and latitude thing though, that's kind of.
Yeah, 'cause especially out here in the desert,
Yeah.
there may be places at the new subdivision, there's no roads or anything on the map. You can put in the lat long and it's gonna put a word long. Now, when you get all done putting in all your information, at least all of your required fields, you can come down here to the bottom and you can click on Submit Listing. When you click on Submit Listing, everybody in the world can see your listing. And I do mean everybody in the world. Immediately, all the other agents can see it. Immediately, all the clients on their portals can see it. The third-party vendors, Realtor.com and the others, come and pull the data and put it on the internet for the whole world to see. That's what happens when you click Submit Listing. What I hope you all do, now that you're entering listings into Matrix, is that even if everything's in, all of your required fields, all of your other fields, you'll come down and click on Save as in Complete. When the listing's incomplete, only you can see it. Your broker, your office manager, are the only people that can see that listing. But while it's incomplete, you can load your photos. You can load your attachments, your supplements. Then go back in and make it active. So the first time anybody sees your listing, all of the data is there. All of the pictures are there. Do y'all understand how important that is?
Yes.
I can tell you how important it is. When I bought my house in Austin, I live in Austin, Texas, I have access to the system, so I set myself up for auto notification. If a listing came over to me without pictures as a consumer, delete. I don't have time to look at every single property. If the agent didn't care to advertise it, I wasn't interested. Load all of your media first. In Matrix, you'll be able to load up to 52 pictures. You don't have to resize your pictures. Send us the biggest picture you have. Better quality. How many photos do you think me as a consumer wants to see on every listing? 52. Whenever I say that in class, I remember this little lady sitting in front of one of my classes. When I said that, she looked up at me and she said, "Oh, well, honey, it's one of those fixer-uppers." Who cares if it's a fixer-upper? You're not kidding anybody. When they get to the house, they're going to see it's a fixer-upper, right? But there's people looking for fixer-uppers. If it's a fixer-upper because there's holes in the drywall and it needs flooring, that's what I'd be looking for. I can hang sheetrock, I can lay tile, laminate. Maybe it is a fixer-upper, but there's upgraded fixtures, or there's nice trees in the backyard, or there's a babbling brook at the end of the street. Market your property. Fill in every field you possibly can, not just the required fields. Load all the photos you possibly can. Market your property.